One of the hardest things to get is one-on-one feedback by someone who lives in the place of phase 4 matured abidance, i.e. enlightenment level 2, not just standard enlightenment, where it's settled. So the divine is with you tangibly, solidly in your body throughout your day when hell goes on, severe pain, major disturbances, be it pandemics, losing people, life stuff. Yeah, you'll still feel the crap, but this can be here with you. To have coaching from someone that lives like that can be very specific and actually tune into you and assist you is incredibly rare. That's what's available here. And I do have to say, every course actually gets at least one session with me, because that way I can give you some feedback and answer your questions and check that you are doing your correct presence practice correctly. Because a bad habit always gives a bad outcome. So I'm teaching you personally, out of those 4 core ingredients to awaken, what do you want, what you doing about it? Well, coaching is the best thing you can do. I can give you feedback on your structures so you can awaken. Hello, that was a nice little kiss. Evidence of a kiss. This is a totally wild bird. Evidence to train you to use your volitional attention, which these guys don't have, as you will see repeatedly when they'll freak out and buzz off. Hey darling, do I get another kiss? Yeah. Right? What do you want? What are you going to do about it? If you have any questions, my phone number's at the bottom of the page. Give me a quick ring, or book your first session without the chat first, and we'll have a longer session per what's in the enrollment, the payment page, sweetie? And this is how I talk to myself. Pillar 2. It includes all of you. So end the internal war. And then your unconscious mind will respond and help you to bring in good stuff as the habit of being here, the habit of holding the crappy stuff in your inner body with your bigger presence until you open up enough and the default habit's deep enough that the divine yum step 4, the everything, the nothing, the divine, the yum kicks in. 5 years or less with coaching, or we will adjust the timeline once I know you and what's possible, and you step up. What you doing about it? Yeah. So you don't need to do that to life. Hey, you a good bird? Let's see if you'll let me grab him. Were you biting me before? Were you? Hey. Let's see what he does. You gonna eat while I got you? He is. Well, that's a first. It's very dangerous grabbing cockatoos because they'll make you bleed very, very easily. You're a sweetie. See now he's more freaked out about the noisy miner calling than he was about me grabbing him. And there's other cockatoos flying around, which is making everybody freak out. State change, be here, bum, pelvic floor. Yeah. He did a pelvic floor movement, if you catch my drift. Didn't you? No? If you want to learn about life, learn how to animal whisper. Because it's just blatant, and it's so fascinating and so funny. So about half the parrots vanished because of that alert call, and the one I grabbed stayed here with me until he then joined his other buddies and freaked out and flew away. So when that sort of stuff happens, boom, your default habit, or indeed your learnt conscious application of the correct habit, will bring you back so you can be resourceful and deal to the situation. And this is how powerful this stuff is, eh? It's one of the most enjoyable things you can experience in your life, communing with pure wild nature that trusts you, as can be shown by the koala videos. They are not social animals. I am effectively a huge predator. And when they show curiousness and slowness and sniff and lick me, it's a good sign. Because these guys are connected to the nothingness, the force, the everythingness. Just it's not conscious. That's what we have, eh? Volitional attention, ingredient 4. And when you learn how to harness that, you can literally think and the animals will act what you think. And I've got that captured on film so many times now, with animals that are not social, animals that have not met humans, animals that are typically not even friendly, like the yellow-breasted robin from 2019. Still astounds me, that one. Yeah. So what's going to follow is a video that I did back in winter 2019. I may have a little bit of Mr. Serious voice on, the first ray energy. And it's important you really define what do you want and what are you going to do about it, what you do want, what you don't want, what resources you are going to put into it, because you only have 2 resources, eh? Time and attention. And I'll probably repeat it down at the lake there, where I didn't have the 4 ingredient overview, which is on the front page at the moment. Yeah, no I didn't, did I? Didn't have the 9 pillar framework, didn't have the laws of grace and the correct presence practice course. But all that stuff's through all of these old videos. It's all there because that's how I got here. My natural Kiwi, give it a go attitude, dogged determination. What did I want? What was I prepared to do about it? Everything. To learn the structure, so the evidence stacked up so I didn't lose it ever again, because I lost all my awakenings, hundreds of them, in the spiritual phase before I worked out, the presence practice, thanks to Mr. Tolly, was the way to go. And it is, it works, and it's fast. And it cuts out distractions. Hey, we'll have less of that. It's all about practice, being clear, and being honest with yourself, and being responsible. That's part of the structure, eh? Being self-honest and self-responsible. So enjoy this legacy video at one of the most beautiful places here in Victoria, Australia. When you're in a coaching process with me, what that means is you get very clear feedback about what's going on with your presence practice, what's in the way, how much your mind is there, and what are the steps that are needed for you to deepen your practice and bring it into your life. Because you are investing in this, it means you're actually more motivated to follow through and be accountable. Motivation is one of those tricky things. We all procrastinate, so why? Now, when you have a coach, you action. Like, I've got a coach, mentor, and because I have her and I pay her good money, it means I make sure I milk everything that session is worth. So I do the work afterwards, beyond where she finishes. I keep going. I go into the deeper layers, get deeper understandings for myself. This is why coaching helps. And then when crap happens, rather than making excuses, it means you can actually move through. Quite often people will not want to do a follow-up session or another session because, oh, family stuff's happening or job stuff's happening. What that means is they're pulling back. What that means is they're getting stuck in that process rather than seeing the bigger picture and how to navigate that through using presence. When we have a coaching session, because I tune into you, and that boosts your presence levels, your energy levels. It gives you that clear sense of the difference in terms of your feeling, your clarity, your stillness and presence, compared to how you are with this life issue that's happening. And this is one of the things you get used to as you go through the awakening process and you stabilize as presence, is how to hold this when life crap is happening. Life crap still happens after you awaken. Well, it's still happening to me, and it's a very unusual process. You know, I don't know many people that are able to hold full rage and anger and all those strong emotions and be present at the same time. But when you abide in awakening, that's how it is. They just come through. Your emotions are a messenger. What's the message? And because you are present with it, it means you are not resisting. It means you are allowing it to come through, hopefully getting the lessons, seeing the belief structures, and that allows them to fall away because you are present. This is key. Now, also because presence is a place of no agenda, sometimes these things can last a while. Depends on your DNA, your upbringing, your psychology base, i.e. from when you were in the womb through to 21, the psychological development process that happens to us all. Depends what's in there and how that's coded in. So, you know, you may have stuff coming through and people go, oh, well, that won't happen. No, the basis of who you are as a human being is built on these structures. Also, what you need to consider is when you are a fetus and you are going through that whole process, and then as a baby into a 7-year-old, 12-year-old, 15-year-old, 21-year-old, your brain, your neurology is still developing. Trauma at the early age, anywhere in there really, can affect brain development. It actually affects the neurons, it can affect the DNA. So some of the stuff actually tends to get very hardwired in and it's hard to shift. So your presence, while that is the light that you are, you may have to learn how to be present with this until this stuff actually undoes. Not many awakened teachers talk about this stuff. They avoid it like the plague. They like to keep it nice and fluffy because that's what people like to hear. But again, let's go back to one of the super cool multipliers of the laws of grace. Honesty. In all honesty, take a look and let what is there be. I'm still going through stuff and it mystifies me why it's still doing it, but it's happening. But at the same time, I have this huge rock solid sense of the nothingness, the impersonal nature of everything, which I know is me because that changed at the start of 2008 when I permanently awoke and then stabilized there, and it's deepened. So that's unshakable. Unconsciously, I'm always there. Consciously, I still keep checking in, as I say in every video. So have you been checking in while you've been listening to this video? How's your hands, your backside, your pelvic floor, the sounds in your environment? Now, if you've got life stuff going on, bring this into that so you can be resourceful. Right? Presence is about, as you go into the state of presence, as I say at studentsuccesstutor.com, where I don't use spiritual language. You turn your left and right brain on by going and relaxing and activating your body's neurology. Being aware of your hands, your tummy, noticing your breathing. Feeling the base of your being, pelvic floor. Gets you under your personality stuff, your tummy. Certainly gets you out of your head. So this may be about all your worries. Your tummy may be feeling all that unpleasant stuff. But as you are aware of your hands, legs, backside, breathing, you can add in your earlobes as well if you want. Just don't get stuck in here. That stuff can be there and allows it to heal. Gives you the chance to see what the belief systems are. Gives you a chance to get the message of the emotion. Emotions happen. They are a messenger only. They're not bad. No, they're not bad. They are the messenger. So don't shoot the messenger. People like to think emotions, anger, sadness, grief, fear, anxiety, and also excitement, which is fear reversed. You're excited because there's a fear you might not make it, so it's exciting. Chemicals. What's the message? Get the message. What's the belief patterning? See if you can sense that. Allow yourself to allow that to move through. Like a belief system is a container for the unknown. Right? That's what a belief is. Do you believe the sun's going to rise tomorrow, or do you know the sun's going to rise tomorrow? Because it's happened every day, right? It's like you don't go, oh, I believe the sun's going to rise tomorrow. Nope. Is Father Christmas going to crawl down your chimney at Christmas time? No. You know that, right? So that was a belief you had as a kid because you were taught it by adults. Or the tooth fairy or whatever. You get what I'm saying, right? When you know what reality is, you don't need to believe that sun thing is going to come up in the morning, right? You know. There's no belief required. So with presence, and you are here now, that allows these emotions, this past trauma and stuff to filter through. And then there's the inquiry process, which is a lot more technical, and we will cover that in coaching. I've got web pages here on it, but it's where you use your skill sets, if you're in counselling and stuff, if you're in coaching and stuff, you can use that to help undo that stuff. But if you're doing that from a place of presence, it means you are properly aligned, so all the different layers heal. Beliefs, feelings and emotions. And then, because you're grounded in your body, it allows your cellular memory to release and gives the DNA a chance to refresh itself. This is how it works. So when you're present, you are all the way aligned from up where you are. You're everything, you're nothingness. Down into the base of your being. And the way I teach the presence practice, which is the fastest way to become present and properly awakened, it's because it's via the body. Your neurology has to be activated. So while I say the nothingness up here, it's actually in here. You might feel it here, you might feel it here, you might feel it in the base of your being and your pelvic floor, your root chakra. I prefer to use body parts because you can't touch a chakra, right? Keep it physical, so it means you're anchored in your body. So this is the benefit to coaching, is it keeps bringing you back. It's very repetitive. And why is it repetitive? Because this repetition undoes the repetition you've already done since you were born, since you formed your personality and became that terrible two me, 3, and all that sort of stuff, right? It undoes all that, all those years of being lost, all those years of being stuck in your head, all those years of being run by your emotions. They're big habits to break. This is why awakening is mathematical, and when you have a coach that can be precise and bring you back and anchor you into that presence, and because you're paying for it, then you've got an investment. You're invested in getting the most out of it. Hence there's pages there on how to maximise coaching sessions, be it with me or anybody else. How do you maximise that? And your process of maximising the value that you get from this, even if you're not in coaching and you're just watching these videos to bring you back, your investment in that helps you move forward to this place of presence while life happens. Life happens. Good, bad, indifferent. You can be present and solidly grounded in peace and yumminess while you're going through heavy trauma. This is true. It still happens to me. Stuff still comes through. For whatever reason, I'm still working through stuff. We've all got different amounts of stuff, but for whatever reason, I have to go really deep. And I've gone really deep, and that's why what I teach here is way more precise than the Eckhart Tolle stuff. It brings in a sharper, more defined process than Adyashanti's stuff, and it's why I keep bringing you guys back. Did you check in as I said that? Hence, I talk a lot about self-honesty. Did you? Because it's measurable. And I wipe out most of that other nonsense about non-dual Advaita stuff. There is a person. You are the doing. You choose to be aware of your pelvic floor right now and hopefully feel your inner body, your presence, and if you're lucky and you've practiced enough and enough of the protection mechanisms of your, if you want to call it ego, your psychology has fallen away enough so you can be in touch with that infinite nothingness, the purity of stillness, bliss, and then that activates as joy in the body, activates as happiness in the body, activates as love in the body, as you become more accustomed to it and you awaken. It is mathematical. It comes down. Yes, you may have the mind awakening and all those mental level samadhis, and those people don't really ever get that it's not real, that it's not grounded and it's not stable, because it's all up here. It's not anchored in your physicality. And if those people were honest, and if I was to have a good chat with them, it'd be interesting to see if they can hold that while they're having an argument, or if that's instantaneous when they're hit by a car, or if they've fallen off their bike or down the stairs. I mean, everybody has this crap happen in their life. Life happens, you have accidents. What happens? Measurable. Do you want to see it? So this is what the coaching is about. This is why I bring you back over and over and over, and I help you see where your misconceptions are, help you how to deal with these emotions and give you that boost so you can hold those emotions, so we can work through, and in the coaching sessions, take you through the healing processes. I do teach Golden Ray and Reiki and all that spiritual healing stuff. I do that. Phoenix healing. It's one of the most potent healing systems there is, but it does require follow-up because it's life-changing. Absolutely. And if you shift your energetic structures, if we're talking about spiritual stuff, yes, they exist. They definitely exist. You change that sort of stuff, it means your life's gone to a different place, therefore you're going to have to do something different. It means old belief patterns need to go. It means, you need to behave in a different way. Preferably with presence, of course. So how's those legs, backside, inner body, presence, and maybe the nothingness? How's that going? Check. Is it there? Be honest. And how strong is it? How deep is it? Be honest. And when I say by be honest is self-honesty and reflecting. And as you practice this, you get better at it. Again, I know I'm repeating myself, but this is the process you go through. It's the process I went through for the 5 years where I heard about Eckhart Tolle and I started practicing presence as much as I could. I went through, having awakenings, which is level 1. Level 2 is non-abiding, where you have significant awakenings and it's easier a lot of the time, and then other times it's really hard. You've got to practice really hard. That's non-abiding. Kind of haven't really lost it, or you can how do you know it's not just a remembrance of being present? Self-honesty and nuance, being nuanced at it. Right? But when you hit abiding, it's here instantaneously, a priori. As soon as you go, where am I? Who am I? It's there, right? That then stabilizes. That still takes 5 years because your personality still has to get used to it. You have to get used to what I've already said in this conversation. You can be aware of the nothingness, the joy and the peace and the stillness while you're actually in fully activated limbic system, amygdala attack, terror, fear, depression. All those things can be concurrent with the nothingness, the peace, the joy, the stillness. Does that do your head in? You want to try experiencing it. And after 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and even 11 years, it still seems really weird to me that I can have that stuff running and be totally, absolutely yummied out with God at the same time. But it is what's happening is if you have a accident, right? It's happened. There is pain, there is trauma, there is all that stuff you have to deal with. You can have your presence and your stillness and your everythingness with that at the same time. It happens. So with coaching, it helps you navigate this stuff. It helps keep you tuned. It helps keep you accountable because you've got me to deal with. I do what I can to support you. It's up to you what you do. But excuses like, oh, I want to go on a holiday. I want to spend the money on a Bon Jovi concert instead. Can't afford it. Then that says where your life priorities are. Are you serious about coming home? I've heard all these excuses over the years. Trust me. How much do you want this? What are you prepared to put in? So, let's have an introductory chat, free chat. If you want to have the longer introductory session, there's the links through the website, basically on every page. Check it out. And you'll get a measurable feeling, you'll get a measurable level of clarity if this is going to work for you or not. Because of the clarity I bring and the presence that I share with you, it will help significantly. You will notice how you slip away or how your cycles go, and it will help. This is what happens to people that come into coaching. And those that fall away, well, they fall away. Because as you can gather from everything I say in my videos, even when you're in an abiding place of awakening, it's still a doing. You still have to check in. If you can be so self-responsible that you do it without having an external party to be accountable to, then awesome. I've taken myself to that place because I've had huge awakenings that I've lost, and it just... So when the permanent one happened, I stuck at it and didn't acknowledge to myself that I was abiding until well over 4 years into it. And I wouldn't acknowledge to anyone else until it was after 5 years into it. 6 years into it, Adja actually acknowledged, yes, it had matured in front of 250 people. And it's matured and deepened a lot more since then. It's still... So while Adja will say it can't be forced,
It can be, because you show you're ready by being ready by having done the practice. You, as you do the practice and you deepen, your psychological processes, protection mechanisms, naturally undo, so you can hold presence better. So yes, you can actually make it happen. That's why I say it's mathematical. If you're not doing the work, these things won't undo. And if you bust open and have the big awakenings, like some people do, that's why they go dysfunctional. Ramana Maharshi, everybody loves him, but he did spend 15 years dysfunctional in a cave and he had rodents eating him. That's not functional. Eckhart Tolle, 2 years on a park bench borrowing money to eat. Not functional. I have met the odd person on Facebook who said they've had them, and I've had chats to them. Yes, they were dysfunctional, and usually, luckily, those people are in a environment where they're supported through that, through either their spouse working, or they're in a family environment that they can be looked after, because they can't work. They're dysfunctional. So this practice here makes you functional for that. It helps you to function. You are learning to function as an enlightened being through doing this practice, through going through the coaching, so you understand it, so your head doesn't get stuck in stupid ideas like ayahuasca is a good thing. It's not, because drugs and those things unconsciously rip away these protection mechanisms. Yes, you'll have a nice experience, but can you bring it in like that? This is what this practice does. This is what the coaching does. It stabilizes your ability as a person, as a being, to hold the nothingness, the nobody that you are, while you're the human being. Seems pretty clear to me. Hopefully this video helps make it clear for you. So check out the coaching and we'll discuss how to go about it, what sort of commitment you have to yourself, and how you want to structure this. And it will be a lot smoother. It'll be a lot more pleasant.
I'm Jason at AwakenedEssence.com. Who's this? Hey, don't bite. No, you bite and I'll give you a bit of a shoo off, I will. Hey, you guys are getting tamer, eh?